is not so much of doing a favor for one another, it's more that we both have a desire to see them gone. It is one of the few times I will actually say that I can agree with them on something, that having them out of the way would make our situation easier.
But then are they going to act like we are beholden to them because they took out this cradle and then suddenly
No,
we have to...
simply put, if we were not beholden, because if it was a matter of them doing it without any involvement from any of us, that would be one thing, but seeing as I am doing this on behalf of myself and our group, they wouldn't have asked me to get involved. They didn't think they could do it themselves, because obviously they see him as enough a threat that they are going to take action on them first before us. They see the cradle as a bigger threat than we are.
And then this artifact that they want you to consider destroying, their angle is that they expect you to do the greater good thing?
The way they put it is that they are thoroughly convinced that if it is not destroyed, that whoever keeps it or gets a hold of it will become no better than the one who made it.
Do you believe that?
Truthfully, I do not know. The only reason why is because I do not know what this artifact can do, what its history is. All I know is that it is of a greater power than the one that is going to be used for the archways. And seeing it, and I do not like the idea of risking it falling into the hands of those who could be tempted to use it, or even in their attempts to try to destroy it, cause something worse to happen.
I agree with that.
Because items of great power and magic are not so easily removed from the world.
What if
It can be
he's...
sealed away, buried, but destroyed? No.
What if he's saying this because he's concerned that if our land gets their hands on it, it would win them the war?
That's precisely what I think it is. They even outright said that they don't want such destruction coming to the Empire. That they believe that it would be used against them. Whether or not that is true, I do not know, as I have no intent of using it myself. But I at least want it in a position where that if it is used, it is not against us.
This whole invasion of our land was directed at Fairhollow, though. If they hadn't been rushing there, we wouldn't be here.
Precisely. The entire crux of this is this item here will single-handedly change the course of things, and if it is merely destroyed, who's to say that is not the thing that will allow them to complete their mission, and that they were worried it was the one thing that would stop them, even accounting for the plan that I have to enact upon our return.
You have to agree that this is a puzzle with not many pieces in it that we have. It just doesn't add up.
Exactly.
That makes me nervous.
The fact is that I cannot exactly ascertain the true intentions of any party involved. To have it secured, I don't know for what purpose when we get back. Aside from making sure that it is not acquired by any of the other groups vying for it. the Inquisition's desire to see it destroyed, if not captured by them. It is quite easy to at least guess at the fact that the Cradle wants it because the sheer amount of destruction it would be able to cause is ample amounts of sacrifice to empower their leader. That is one of the few things that I can be almost certain of, is that their intent with it is to use it to more easily accomplish what their group stands for.
Well,
So I will
when
deal with the devils that I know, or the devils I'm most certain of, to make sure that there's more time to grab those pieces, or at least ascertain a choice for ourselves. But the wrong action is not taking action. Similarly so, is trying to take our time with it until we have the answers. We have to go with what we believe is the right choice in the moment.
that's what I was about to say.
We do know.
We might not have the
luxury to decide.
Yeah.
Which is why my decision, as far as I'm concerned, even though people like Kidos believe that such choices should be deferred to people like him, but quite honestly, I still do not entirely trust him, and I don't exactly want the idea of somebody that could be here on their own merits running off with that object either, because I don't know what they want it for either. All I know is that the greater chance of there being negative consequences from attempting to destroy it makes it an option that is only to be undertaken in the event that it is the only way to prevent it from either falling into the hands of others or from something else similarly negative from happening. Such as if going near it causes it to suddenly go out of control to the point that securing it is no longer an option. Only then would I even consider attempting to do so.
So the goal is to try and secure it, and if that fails, destroy it.
Destroying it only if it is unable to be secured in any other way. Because if it needs to be destroyed later, so be it, but then we can do it outside of the immediate threat of the situation at hand. It can be brought somewhere that is where it is not at risk of being swiped away by the Inquisition or the Cradle, if any of their agents still yet act as I am sure they likely are, regardless of what happens today. That is the way I intend to go about it. And I hope that others will try to see it the same way, that trying to destroy it as the first option could have far worse and far greater reaching consequences than attempting to bring it back intact.
Do you trust people like Fulgrith and Gelix to have it?
I trust them more than I do people like Oleander.
Fair.
I've had to work with them out of a degree of necessity to ensure that I have the time needed to get myself to safety, and ultimately my working with them would was to prevent greater damage from being done, as they would have acted upon what they wanted me to do with or without me. But the destruction that would have been caused from doing so would have been far greater and less predictable, simply due to the nature of what kind of magic is involved and what will best control it. And to that front, if it is going to happen anyways, I would at least see it be done in a manner that is least likely to have potential risk to ourselves in the process. Because had they done it on their own, there was a chance that it could have very well backfired onto where all of us are or trying to flee. And at that point, having the moral high ground at that point would have been, well, won't do me much good in the afterlife.
This is a heavy burden. I'm sorry you have to deal with it.
It is simply, in a way I can see it as simply penance for all the things that I've done in the past. Both the things I know and the things I'm sure that I did that I don't.
Still.
I appreciate the sentiment. When it comes to matters like these, there's never going to be any sort of choice as easy, as every single one of them will always involve the invocation of the greater good, as well as simply the fact that any consequences or ripple effects from it reach far beyond myself. Will always affect many. So I always have to act with that in mind, and that there's never a right answer. Just the answer that I'm most comfortable living with.
I hope one day this isn't a weekly occurrence for you.
Assuming that I complete this task successfully, and I am able to finish up a business with Falgriff when we return, then the terms of my involvement and deal should be completed. I'll be given the ability to continue with what I need to do for myself, and my own path that leads me away from this country westward. When that happens, I intend to try to start things over, in a sense.
Oh.
Those immediately around me would stay with me. But as far as my involvement with anyone else goes, it would probably come to an end. Unless it is directly involving myself in my full capacity. No more playing games of passing off as a human, an elf, whatever it may be. But people know who I am, sort of thing. If I intervene in business with anyone from that point forward, it will likely never be mentioned that it is myself. Solely for the fact that having my identity out there has usually only served to make things more complicated. It's not that I don't care for everyone else. It's more that I care about the fact that my involvement with them means that they will inevitably be brought into matters like these more and more, whether or not they want to be.
A life in the shadows is a lonely existence.
I will not be in the shadows. And as I said, I'm sure that wherever I end up with my tribe, that I will likely come across others. I know others going that direction for their own purposes as well. I would have to start over in every regard, but truthfully, I've wanted something like that. So I feel that I've done many things the wrong way, or that I've had things become more complicated due to how my own affairs and matters were settled. The more people know of me, the more that things about me get to people that would do those who know of me harm or myself. It's simply a fact. Had people not known of my existence or known my identity when acting as others, I wouldn't have had run-ins with the Black Serpents. I would have been able to possibly evade some notice by the Empire. I know I led a lonely existence prior to stepping out from the forest. But I do understand the weight of the words of people like my sister, and that while it may have brought me something, it has also brought me considerable amounts of danger to myself and those that I care for. Those who know of my kind seek to either eliminate us or use us to their own ends. I do not have the benefit of being seen as just another race of Azera like the elves, the dwarves, the drow, anything like that. We are seen as inherently others. Something not understood, something be feared, killed, or subjugated.
I've only ever seen you as a person as well, Yindel.
You are a rare exception to the norm. You and most of the others directly around me. That is only a few dozen people at most compared to the tens of thousands out there that see someone like myself and consider me a monster or something to be feared. Simply because of what I am. Unfortunately, being seen as a person by one does not change that fact that there will be others that will never see it as such and will act upon it accordingly.
Well, wherever your life ends up taking you when this is all said and done, I hope it brings you happiness. You deserve it.
I hope so as well, but not just for my sake. So people like her could be happy. People like Faye, Elle, all of the ones who have chosen to follow behind me, either as a part of my family or as protectors and allies to it. Because any action that I take is one that affects them as well. My first goal is always going to be caring for them, so that they do not feel any reason to regret allowing me to call them one of my own.
I don't think they would ever regret that.
Still, whether or not they would, if I can have the doubt in my heart that I have done everything I can to care for them, then I am not doing enough. I don't want to have any reason to doubt that I am doing everything in my power to give them the life they deserve.
You know, when we retake Giyuan, you're welcome. Come and stay. I'm sure we could find a nice comfy spot for a grove or something.
I'll keep that in mind.
Dealt with it?
We've been waiting for you lot for about 20 minutes in the magistrate's office.
I didn't know you guys had finished.
That's why we said stay in the magistrate's office. Don't you gesture at me, Lisa. I will backhand your mute ass. Let's go. We're late. Fuck you chuckling at, Dryad.
Wasn't a chuckle, that was a sigh. Would you like me to laugh?
That would be terrifying.
Yes.
Escorts, will she have?
That I don't know. Most likely she'll have some mercenaries of some sort.
I didn't touch the joystick, it still did it. Anyways.
It's rather unfortunate having to deal with a breaking into my own home before this.
You had a break-in into your own home?
It seems like nobody took anything.
They didn't.
My maid's handling with the guard.
I'm going to be staying back, and Kyler can take my place.
I haven't
He
found
works better
anything
with Ren and
misplaced
Gregor.
Do I?
Understood.
Plus, he's sneaky.
Now then,
I am not.
I'll get
sneaky.
the rest of you up to speed on what's going on. Lady Armani is planning on pressuring our craftsmen and is having a meeting of sorts. Some of these craftsmen, I believe, are already in her pockets. Those of whom I do not know. It is up to you to figure out who these craftsmen are. Now, Armani will most likely have a personal bodyguard. This will make it rather difficult. Do not engage with them. You are simply to stay low and gather information. Now, if you are as bold as to follow Lady Armani and listen in to what she's discussing, that would be of most beneficial information towards us. Usually she discusses these things such as, her most cunning plans amongst her gods. I'm joking, by the way. If you can listen into her, go ahead.
Understood.
All right?
Ren, Gregor, Kyler. Who else?
Questions?
Unless 3 is enough.
Concerns?
What are we specifically listening in for? Any specific things or just everything?
Try and figure out who she's pressuring in the crowd. Who supports her the most? Who's in her side?
Alright. The 3 of us.
That good with everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Aye.
Alright.
Sorry,
We'll
I
get it
don't
done
blend
right.
in.
I get it.
You do better in that situation.
Well, I'm not one who can sneak around.
But yeah,
When is this meeting
normal
supposed to take
You
place?
fucking glow.
of the gathering.
Did.
About 5 minutes after we conclude.
Right?
Okay, let's go figure out what we're gonna be standing around.
And the meeting will take place in the marketplace if you didn't catch that part.
Understood. I'm gonna duck into the alleyway. I need to take a quick breather.
So do I.
Alright, chat, I'll be right back. Oh boy, I'm dealing with Gregor and Rin, the two that fucked me last time.
I was going to ask how that went, seeing as nobody came screaming that someone was dying. Surprisingly well. Looks like them.
Back left of the city. So we're gonna be going down the street there.
Alright, we need to try to make sure that we listen one by one. We continuously move around them, it'll seem suspicious.
Yep, spread out and just loiter around, I suppose. That's all we're gonna do.
Don't be seen with
Remember
each
that
other.
tavern girl from the tavern? Yeah, follow her. Back left of the tavern.
The
back left of
tavern
the
girl?
city.
What?
The tavern girl in from this tavern over there. The elf girl. She was heading over there.
It's usually bad to point as well. Break her
Well,
watching.
he knows her. He's seen her around.
I think you have a better rapport
Right.
with her than I do.
I'm not gonna be talking to her, but if she does
Right.
recognize me, I'm just gonna put my mask down and just
That's less suspicious if you
probably
will.
load around her if anything.
So what are we doing? We're just following to see who she's most supporters are, not getting engaged,
We're
listening
gonna
if we
go
can.
and look and observe. No engaging, just observing, looking, blending in. That's all we gotta do.
Great. Can't wait for this one to
Right.
go to shit. Spread out. Don't
Eyes
go
and
near
ears
each
open.
other.
Yep. You head down there. I'll head
They should have been distributed to everyone by this point. If anyone has not elected.
We didn't go with the group that was, well,
seen that man before.
Nah, but if you're looking for drugs on the street, apparently those are the two to talk to.
Alright. Well, thank you for the information.
That's
Why
why not
would you
throwing
need
us in
drugs?
the
There's
pool.
plenty in this. There's plenty in this world to do and have fun with without drugs. Like I said, my mom came here when I was tiny. I couldn't have drugs at that point.
Oh shit, a rat.
Jump on his head!
Can't go. No, you can't go in there. Oh shit.
You trying to eat that rat?
I mean, gotta get food somehow.
What are you, a street urchin? A street rat?
Again with the kid jokes.
That's what.
Yep.
You people are cold, aren't you? People that live on the streets.
Urchins are children. Homeless children without parents.
Do you have a home?
No,
Do you have,
but I'm not a child.
do you have food?
A little bit here and there. Whatever I can take that nobody finds missing.
I've been there, yeah.
Got some cheese, little bits of...
10 copper.
What? Oh, well, thank you.
Actually, you know what? Here's half a ham sandwich I had earlier today.
Okay,
It's from the
here,
farms.
take the copper back. I don't feel right taking that. I only try to get food. I don't try to take people's money.
You know, money can be exchanged for goods and services, like food. Don't
Yeah,
forget to share.
but you're not from around here, are you?
We'll give that away.
I'd much rather take from the people around here. Never seen you around here before. I've lived in Fair Hollow my whole life.
Oh, yeah? Might have some questions to ask if you don't mind, then.
Oh, sure, why not?
There's, a lady going around, you might have heard her, Amani. What's your relation to her?
Don't mingle with them. Don't mingle with the higher up folk too much. She tends to do what everybody else does and tends to look over us.
It's good for you.
I see how she treats people, though. She'll treat some people pretty good. Other people, though, doesn't seem like it.
Who has she been treating good?
The ones I can remember off the top of my head have been the woodworkers.
Just the woodworkers?
Of course, they don't like us much either.
Yeah.
It's the only one I've actively seen out in the open, though I've heard whispers here and there.
What about your friend?
She's new. She just got into town today.
Unlucky. Alright, well, I appreciate it. Don't forget to share your sandwich with your friend.
I won't.
Run along now.
There, now there's 2 sandwiches.
Right in front of me, I could have just fucking killed her. Then I would have been dead by her fucking guards. Stupid woman. Think she is.
As you're standing here, Kyle, you can definitely see that the leg of the candle merchant there is definitely injured. But the one that stands out more than the others is the older man, the blacksmith by the well. He is beat to shit. You can see that from here.
Only had other people to work with.
Evening, friend.
Go away from me. I've had enough to deal with. Now I don't want to be robbed.
I'm not gonna rob you.
Like you won't fucking rob me.
I heard you were a candle maker.
Yes. Yes, I'm a fucking candle maker. What does it look like?
Well, it looks like you've got a
I
bit
look
of a
like I sell
limp there.
clothes. Yes, compliments of Lady Amani.
Not a fan.
So, this is what happens when you speak up. No, I'm not a fan of big mouth noble.
Really? Because I heard she was,
If I had my choice, I wouldn't be here anymore.
I heard she was basically got every merchant on lockdown. She was helping them all out.
It's every merchant lockdown. I knew that coppersmith was in her fucking pocket. Son of a bitch.
So what, you, said something she didn't like
This
and...
is what you get for speaking out of turn. What?
What would you say? What would you do?
Well, she was sitting right in front of me. If not for her fully plated guards, I would have. Well, I had a knife ready.
Just
I
as
would
well
have
as she.
killed her because she is bad-mouthing a guardian. A guardian, well-respected merchant.
Ah, you're
And she
from
has no
Gradia
place
too.
to badmouth other people that aren't her own country merchants. Yes, I am from Gradia. What do you think? You think people born here in our land sound the way I do? No.
It's just a surprise. I only see them every now and then. Do you need a hand with that?
No, don't touch me.
Okay.
At least it's not broken. She gave me that. It's not bleeding. Well, not much anymore. I'm lucky I don't bleed so much.
So if she doesn't like you because you spoke out, but she's friends with what?
She beat me in the leg, and then she took the blacksmith, made an example out of him, and then slashed him across the face. It's fucking Imperial spies. They're everywhere,
Really? Because they kind of remind me of Gradio.
waddling around. You'd be surprised. No, but the blacksmith got fucked. It's sliced across the chest, and then broke a couple of his ribs. Couldn't fuck his arms up because he's the only blacksmith here. Works on her men's gear. And then because I spoke out of turn, well, this is what happens when you speak out of turn. When you're not on her payroll.
Good to know. I didn't see everyone came out as wounded as you two, though. Is like literally everyone else completely okay with her doing what she's doing?
That is because either they keep silent or on her payroll. What's it to you?
I'm just curious. I don't like seeing merchants.
Well, you have something bad with the coppersmith? Is it because he's on her payroll? Is that the problem?
I'm just
You have a
curious.
problem with elves, Drow?
No.
Sure. Well, there's your curiosity sated. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going back to rubbing wax on my leg.
Best of
So
luck.
I feel better about myself. Yes.
Do you have anything like lavendery?
Yes. My most scented candle is lavender because it helps you sleep.
How much?
For you. On the house.
I do appreciate
Not many
it.
people listen to me.
Ah. Well,
Don't come back and steal the rest of them.
no. You stay safe.
I know how to use this.
I bet.
What would you say, like some manner of small-sized cooking pot, perhaps?
You know what? I'll come back tomorrow because I'll be getting paid.
For a job.
Very well. You know what? I'll touch it up a bit for you. Buff it off. It was sitting in a pile of
Maybe.
This is my post.
Oh.
It's great.
Yeah?
Hello.
Hello.
I mean, if you're wanting inside, I can check for you.
We're just waiting.
I have a final member.
Are you happy? Yep.
With what I know?
Yeah.
Can't say.
Okay.
Let's
Are
go ahead
we
and
going
get
inside? What's going on?
Sure. I just want to
What
make
are you
sure.
waiting for, eh?
I just want to make sure you're all
okay.
good.
You're okay. Right. Okay.
All right. We overheard some things.
Are we waiting for
Let's go
everyone, or are
through.
we just kind of?
We should.
Should probably wait for everyone.
Do they know that we're gathering
I can
here?
go get them.
Yeah, check the church.
Well, I'm assuming somebody will get them. Your suspicion was right. Some of the merchants are indeed in her pocket.
So, who?
From what I was able to notice, the craftsman brothers, the furniture makers, the metalworker elf, and there was one other. I wasn't able to see from my perspective, but hopefully Gregor or Kyler saw the third person. My suspicion is the tavern keeper, the elf, right outside of here.
Did you get any names?
Names, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get, though I have spoken with the elf.
All
If
right.
it serves me right, I'll be able to remember them.
I'll have my men go out and
They-
get their names then. If you have descriptions, that's all I need.
I got the
I'll
copper
get to
worker
that.
and the
Make a note of
woodworker.
them.
Those are the two that I heard about.
And they'll be investigated on the next day. Copper worker
The woodworkers.
as well.
Well, that might be the metal worker that he's referring to. So that would.
The elf, the metalworker, the one who does
that's the
the
elf, sir.
goblets and rings and
There you
stuff.
go. Coppersmith.
And the woodworkers.
Also, they wanted to make sure they make a presentation of the situation, so they cobble up the blacksmith to the left side of the gate, the one across from the dwarf, and the candle maker.
Who I followed as well.
If you send them in there, you'll see they've been a little bit roughed up.
He spoke out to her apparently, and she made an example out of him. At least the candlemaker did.
Specifically, I was told because they didn't pay the taxes.
Oh, I see. Now this is really starting to piss me off. First, the woodworkers failed to come in with that order of spears for the guard. Now, Amani's roughhousing our blacksmith and extorting them?
Yeah.
Oh. Boy. I'm going to love tomorrow. Now, if I remember correctly, someone tipped me off that she likes to have a little dagger on her at times. Well, if she has that dagger on her, I'll have enough grounds to have her arrested. On top of all of these charges I'll be laying on top of. Now, I'll be waiting until we know that she has this dagger. You see, it's proof that she's a part of, I'm sure you know, a cult. Well, once we know she has it on her, I'll have her and her whole house rounded up and arrested. Mobilize the whole guard. It'll be quite a show. Now, I'll just reiterate myself for everyone who's just stepped in. Good, good. I was just informed that the coppersmith, the woodworkers, and who was it?
The tavern owner across the street, the elven.
and the tavern owners in cahoots with Lady Amani. Well, my guard will be investigating them tomorrow. We'll be looking into it. I'm especially disappointed in the fucking woodworkers who skimped on our order of spears the other week. Those bastards. Now then, with this information, we'll be keeping a closer eye on Lady Amani. I've been informed with prior information that she likes to have a dagger on her. Tomorrow, we'll be springing an operation to have her and her whole cohort of criminals arrested if she has this condemning dagger on her. This will most likely have the most moving parts out of any operation we've sprung here in Fairhall. Now, if it goes off without a hitch, we might have the opening you need to allow you to go to your quest at the lake. I trust that you'll stick around for tomorrow when we plan to go forward with this arrest.
Aye.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Good. Now, why don't you all go and have a nice rest? We'll handle these troublesome shopkeepers. And you go and get your strengths up for the big ordeal tomorrow. How does that sound?
We'll be back in the morning, sir.
I'll have to check on Anthony. He was, an attempt was made against him. He's, in a pretty bad state. Most likely.
Do we know by who?
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
No. Go on then. Get some rest. You've got a big day tomorrow.
The prisoner. The medic, Imperial. What do you want us to do with him?
Interrogate him, obviously.
Arrested? Right.
Also, go arrest any men wearing black hoods other than that one. Actually, take his head. You there. Come back here. And you as well. Both of you in the hood. Come here. Take your hoods off. Do you have blonde hair?
No, I have white hair. He pulls a little
Take
bit
it
to the
off.
side.
White hair. And you?
Pulls a little off to the side. Brown.
Don't you know it's impolite to have your hoods on inside of a house?
It's good to keep our identities a secret, so when we go out in plain clothes, we
If you're
won't be
agents of the
recognized.
Crown, don't worry. I'm the Knight Commander. I should know who you are.
I'm staggeringly ugly.
Go on, take it off.
Would that be all?
Roll.
I'm sure you are.
With a natural 20, you believe he is very ugly, and you're doing this. He's doing this for your good.
Trust me, neither of
All
us
right,
want that.
just leave my house.
Come on.
Come on, let's head back to the tavern, okay?
No, which one is the response?
Hmm?
That you're ugly. That
not,
we're ugly, really.
not entirely untrue.
No, that's entirely true for the other.
see that as kind of weird.
What?
What are you pointing at?
Oh no. Seagull.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, there's been a few around.
It'd be a shame if you caught it and brought it to Raylan.
You might see a bird fly around.
I'm assuming you're still at work?
Yes, the bird
I
is
mean,
in
the fish is blocking the view.
Did you see it? Shoot. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're Imperials. All the seagulls, they're Imperials.
Throwing knife.
I'll note it for next time I see that thing.
Yeah, you see, there it is.
Just clipped its wing. Oh, fuck.
Regardless, one thing.
I was gonna say to not kill it because Raylan appreciates that.
What?
Gonna start interrogating the medic now.
I was gonna say bring it to alive.
How the fuck do you expect me to
That's
catch
a
one of
joke,
those alive?
We need you patrolling the streets here with a torch, Edna, okay? Just you.
And then just reach over and grab it. He's gotta have lightning fast reflexes.
Well, you should have done that before I threw my fucking knife at it. Come on, arms up here.
Alright.
Well, I...
Yep. Yep.
You got a torch from me?
Yep. Yep.
You alright?
He was asking why I needed the rest of you guys, you specifically. Arn, I believe with what, like you said, I've been thinking about what Old Anne said, and she said I have to prove myself. I can't just take it. I have to prove myself worthy or something. I believe it might be perhaps us, if it is the stone from the story.
I don't know how much stock I put in the story itself. Story changes over years. People interpret it differently.
Right, of course.
But there's one thing I'm sure of, is that you have been very distant after speaking with Kidos.
I'm not planning on going off with him, I promise. I need
I would
you.
never even think that of you. Ever. My concern is he's not trying to manipulate you. But the way that
He is
you've already
trying to
explained this to me... Bring Greg over here. I need to make you two aware of something. We might
Understood.
have to take care of something in the near future.
He plans on doing this tomorrow morning.
You've been called, come on.
I told him no, flat out. I need you.
Has he been
course, he
trying
tried
to
to
turn you
manipulate me.
specifically against me?
Yes. He said even that if I want to protect you, it'd be better if the two of us go alone, because then you guys won't drown to death, so... It was hard. It was hard. It was a lot. But I stood my ground and said no, absolutely not.
You understand we have to act on this?
I understand. I do not trust him. And when push comes to shove, he even said himself he does not trust the artifact in anyone's hands but a Triton.
I mean, it needs to be taken care of now. Where is he?
I don't know.
Who?
Iandel,
Kidas.
let's make this something
He's
very
by
clear.
the tavern.
Nobody jump on this information prematurely. I'm telling you all this right now so you're all on the same page. Kidos has attempted to actively turn Raylan against myself. Has tried to convince her to go for the artifact by themselves, without us, in the middle of the night or early morning. And he will make an attempt in the morning to do so. This is very clearly a threat to us, very clearly a threat to our mission, and it is something that we will have to act upon. I'm going to go speak with Sir Checker. Actually, no. I'm going to wait until Anthony is back on his feet tomorrow morning. So I'll probably keep the two of you by Kidos so he doesn't do anything stupid. I'm going to alert him so he's arrested with Crown authority. That way he's not our problem. I don't want to murder him, but I'm not going to let him interfere. Everybody aware? We're on the same page.
I believe he has his own interests in it that could be just as problematic as any of the other
It
groups
doesn't
trying to
matter.
mess
They
up
don't
it.
align with ours, and we cannot allow him to get it. Plain and simple.
She's
I thought
right.
it would be helpful to have another Triton fighting with us when we were under there and in the
As did
water,
I
and then
when I
Yes, but
foolishly
if he
told
is
you to
seeking
speak to him.
if he's seeking to undermine us, that completely
Oh,
defeats the
well, I was
benefits
betting
that
on
he
it.
would
Well,
have.
he's failed.
I know he's not going to.
He
let us
failed
take
when he
the thing.
talked to Raylan.
Alright. Well, we all know what's going on. We don't need to talk about it out in the open. I don't want him to get wind of it. Tomorrow morning, I will ensure he is arrested.
Actions on if he makes a move during the night.
Understood.
I can
Attempt
stay
to
awake and
subdue.
keep watch.
Understood.
I want all three of you to keep watch on him overnight. Take shifts.
Understood.
Understood.
I myself will sleep by the front door of the tavern. Good. We're on the same page. Let's disperse before he gets concerned. He's coming down the walkway now.
Understood.
On a lighter note, if you all would like to gather, I have a bit of a thing to read that could aid us in our journey tomorrow.
What is it?
I had something transcribed from the bookkeeper, whatever he is called. Raylan, you of all
I have to
people
disappear
should
for a
listen.
bit, take care of some business. I'll be back.
We can talk in the church.
Understood.
Keep half an eye on the fish.
Lisa,
Oh, these
holding
candles
up
are
okay?
beautiful.
Good. Let me know if you need anything.
Sort of thing did you get transcribed?
A story of Tritons and humans and how they work together. Could be useful.
They work together? I've only heard the story of how they warred.
It's interesting. The title is misleading. It is called The Tragedy of the Goodfellow House. Have you heard of it?
I've heard briefly of the Goodfellow House.
I have this big pamphlet here. I'll try to read as much as I can. Don't feel like you need to stay though. Okay, the tragedy of the Goodfellow House.
Just write it down.
Give me one moment. Put on this.
How are you doing, Kyler?
Frustrated.
As am I. It was
Nothing has ever been simple, or even mildly complicated. It's always the most complex puzzle known to mankind.
Hopefully this has some answers for us. Perhaps one of the oldest stories that illustrate early Triton-human interaction is the tragedy of the Goodfellow House. Like most recorded Triton history, it is a secondary source account from the human party's perspective. What's most unique about this tale, however, is the rapid descent into hostility taken by the slighted Triton family. Aggression is typically not found in texts of similar nature, which gives all the more reason to its importance. The tale is as follows. One summer afternoon, a man of the Goodfellow house by the name of Julius decided to set up his shop near the shores. Pardon me, it's been a while since I've read so many words. He had heard many wondrous things of the water dwellers that lived beneath the waves, and decided that he would meet one. The impeccable quality of his products was certainly something that even those of another race could appreciate. He placed his ragoda. Oh, there's a definition down here. A ragoda is a type of temporary shop that was often used in... Oh! Oh, you know. Anyway, he set up his ragoda close to the waters while the tide was high and began to arrange his wares. He had hardly finished setting up when he spotted his first customer, a Triton no less. "Trader, I see that you have set up shop in a peculiar place," the water dweller began. "One must wonder how effective your business will be when placed so far from the markets?" Not put off in the slightest, Julius responded. "Perhaps, but lately Asara has been watching over me, and my pockets are full. So I decided to take a risk for today to meet those I normally would not." The amused stranger seemingly refreshed by the man's positive outlook. He began to look over the many wondrous items for sale, judging their value. It took but a moment for his gaze to rest upon a marble statue that would fit perfectly in the palm of one's hand. The imagery was that of a school of fish swirling around an octopus, made with impressive detail and remarkable sheen. The stranger was enamored with the piece almost instantly. "I must own this masterpiece," the Triton exclaimed. "Truly there has never before been such a perfect representation of the ocean made by a human. Name your price." The man gave his price, which was immediately accepted, and the transaction was complete. The next day, Julius, having had such a wonderful interaction with the sea dweller, decided to return to the shore. Surely they must be so wonderful. They must all be so wonderful, he thought to himself.
Good luck.
The paper is smudged here. I would love to be able to meet more. But you can imagine his surprise when the Triton returned with an army. "Your horrible art melted as soon as I entered the water. I demand recompensation," he shouted, as he slammed the sculpture on the table. The trader the trader examined the sculpture and quickly discovered that it was, in fact, different. The coloring of the marble was off, and it appeared to almost have melted. Julius insisted that it would be impossible for marble to become disfigured in such a way, but the Tritons would not listen. As the argument continued, tensions built up between the two parties until it reached the point of violence. Weapons went drawn and used against each other in a horrible interspecies war. The conflict itself was short-lived due to the Tritons' ruthless cunning. They would strike out at the good fellows in an ambush, followed by quickly retreating into the water where they could not be harmed. Eventually, it became too much for the humans to handle, and they surrendered. The Triton clan was compensated at 10 times the value of the original purchase, and the Goodfellow house was legally dissolved. They have some notes here. There are various curiosities in this tale that have yet to be answered. The ending, for example, is very unceremonious and abrupt. There is almost certainly more to this story, but it has likely been lost to time. Even more surprisingly, however, are the Triton attack styles used against the Goodfellows. Guerrilla warfare is completely unobserved in any other text referencing Tritons, but which begs the question of why it was used here. Some theories are that the nameless Tritons were a group that sought out coin at any expense, or that there was a custom that the Goodfellows were unaware of that led to such a ruthless response from the sea folk.
Interesting.
That was a lot, I'm sorry. Jeez.
No, it is fine. Curious.
What would cause an entire clan to act so strange, I wonder?
Aye.
I'm sure some parts were embellished for the story.
Maybe it will come in handy. I will keep it close.
Thank you, Anya, for sharing.
It's not a problem. It's better that we all know.
too engrossed in the story
I
to.
never would have done it.
Hmm?
Just so you know. What were you saying?
This fucking guy.
Oh my fucking god, are you fucking kidding me?
Is the altar busy, or can I pray for a moment before I head to bed?
Go ahead and pray.
You're welcome to. Apologies.
It just looked like it was busy, and I don't wish to interrupt anyone else.
By all means.
What the fuck was that? It is getting late.
I will likely head back to the tavern.
I think we all should.
Hello, Gregor?
Gregor, we're heading back to the tavern. At least some of us. You missed story time. What can I tell you? Look at him run. His angry little feet hitting the ground behind him.
It's because you both used his name.
I know. I realized after I did it, and it was really fucking.
Have you seen the size of this fucking doorknob? You can't even hold it with one hand.
Just so you know, though, I never would have done it, Kyler.
Guardsman,
Go off.
Oh boy. Yes.
did you end up finding that
What's up?
person that the magistrate asked you to look for?
Find the person? What person?
Yeah.
I'm on a different schedule. Like I'm getting recruits together to go clean out the prison cells and interrogate an Imperial. Like,
He
that's my
said
duty
to
right now, so I'm
arrest
not
someone
on
in
the
a
same
black hood.
agenda.
Just caught wind of that last time we were in there. Aside from me, because I don't have blonde hair apparently. Shows the white hair.
Oh, I see.
But-
I see. Well, no. Some point I will be looking around.
Well,
Main
that's him
thing
over there.
I need to do right now is focus on my duty.
So,
Look, different priority. There's so many hoods around, boy. I can't just go over without back. Look, I don't even have people with me. I'm on a set schedule. But I'll tell you one thing. It probably knows where that one recruit went. So I'm gonna go ask a couple questions. But I'll keep an eye.
yeah, fuck it. It's impossible to catch this guy anyway. You good? Are you ushering me out?
Word of warning, that one's gone red.
Did he say anything?
Also, there's rats about.
Rats.
Let's just say there's about 5 or 6 giant fucking rats crawling around. There he goes.
I don't know, but I don't like them here. I just sent that one to Gradia.
Everything okay, Tang?
Rats.
Right.
Friend is dealing with rats.
I just saw that you were red and I didn't know if you were having another moment. I didn't know if... I'm glad you're okay though.
Rats.
Just a bunch of rats, mate.
They're not so bad. Just misunderstood.
I know. I already had to deal with the ones that were way
Stories
too
are about
big.
as much as
Don't like these ones.
any of us would know, I assume. I doubt even you know.
It's like we literally can't do anything about it. Like we go through. I'm not getting into it. I'm not doing it.
I never showed you my journal, did I?
No.
Either way.
You know what? Here's the fucking tissue.
Raylan?
Baba.
She's coming.
Ah. I'm going to check the butter one more time. Maybe he's back.
Oh, good idea. Maybe he's back now.
Yes, let's walk very slowly.
Yes. Very
Super
slowly.
Super slowly.
Nope, it's empty. Let it go.
Fast, what the
Let's go.
fuck, Kyler?
No, it's empty.
Wait, no! God, wait, no! Kyler, no!
Watch this.
Go to the Potter.
The Potter who lived.
Butter!
Come to die.
Butter!
Potter.
What are you talking about?
We talking about?
Do it.
We talking about?
What are you talking about?
We talking about?
What are you talking about?
You're trying to talk to me about
It's so
something,
funny when he fucking does it.
Raylan?
Wait, what happened?
You like tried to talk
the
to me
box.
like 3 times and then we got interrupted because other stuff was happening.
It's okay. I was just saying I never would have gone with him. You know that, right? I would have never have left you guys.
Well, I do have abandonment issues, so there's always like part
I
of
swear
me.
to fucking God, Kyler.
What is that from an ex-girlfriend or something? It's all written all over your face.
Yeah, ex-girlfriends? Yeah, what the fuck? They sound like bitches.
She probably
What,
was
did
a
one of
bitch,
them
a
leave you? Did
royal
one of them
cunt.
die? God
An
damn.
absolute blister of a...
Kyler, no! Time to commit hot fire.
Time to commit hot fire.
I'm so fucking annoyed that the Potter isn't here. If I see him, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to actually kill this Potter if I see him again. I'm kidding. Go in. She needs you. She's been looking for you like all fucking day.
Hey.
Potter.
Not all fucking day.
The Potter who lived.
I gave you
So,
a free
yeah.
sample. You I don't like very much.
Oh wow, I really care.
You had the
Look at
small
my little pot.
watertight.
It's literally the
correct?
smallest pot you've ever seen.
Wait, really?
Look at my pot. It is the
You
tiniest pot.
doing a little pot there?
Oh, your baby.
Look, get a little pot.
She was just sitting by the thing so
Little gram
lonely.
of
I just
pot.
decided to get her one. There you go.
I appreciate it very
You
much.
smoking
Now,
pot?
mind you, I wouldn't keep that underwater for very long if you could help it. The ceiling wasn't as great as I would have liked it to be, but it will work.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Good?
Are you enjoying your little pot?
Oh my God. Kyler,
What are you talking about? Where are you going?
what the fuck? I saw him go in here. I don't. It's kind of a nice little corner though.
Would you please get off my neighbor's roof?
Ooh. Can I? Oh, Anya. Onion. Look, I got on the
Can
roof.
you please not be on my neighbor's roof?
It's your neighbor's roof. Why do you care about it?
Why do
If
I
I
have
was on your
climb
roof,
walls?
Because
however,
I believe
uh-oh.
that neighbor is Miss
This is-
Solus, and she doesn't like people on her roof.
Who? Is this what you see, Kyler?
Yeah.
Don't worry about
But like usually at nighttime.
Oh. What are you doing?
Well, if any of you need pots,
How do you keep your footing? What the fuck? Ow.
There was one of those fucking.
Me while you're on a rooftop.
There was a seagull up there.
I don't know.
They've been harassing
Oh
people.
no, Grandma's here.
There's
Hi,
a
Grandma.
So you went onto the rooftop.
course.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Look, I told her to get down.
Boys.
I
Look, I told her
respect
to
you.
get
You're
down.
fine.
Oh boy.
But you're fine. I
My
respect
favorite person to deal with.
Why is your crushing ass so bulbous?
Why would that be surprising? They are a machine of war.
Merely something to take note of is all. Perhaps useful.
I remember what I spoke to you about earlier in the whole situation at hand, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently is to deal with lowering the amount of people House Revolt has to defend given their ties with the Cradle.
Mm-hmm.
For that matter, that captain that was part of that caravan apparently had ties to them as well.
Hmm.
That said, spoken with him. He wants 3 people that I trust.
Oh.
Private conversation, Raylan. Sorry.
When your people are ready, put into the chat.
But anyways, I need other people that are fighting capable. The reason why he's involved is to specifically take out a particular target that calls himself the Silver Blood. And that would have been far too difficult to take out.
So what's the mission? Go in there and kill this house?
Essentially getting rid of the people that are protecting them so that they lose any foothold that they have.
And what about the
There's
magistrate?
people that I can trust to do. Is something that needs to be dealt with if they are to truly be handled. Otherwise, their manpower can easily interfere with this arrest on Miss Amani or the other agents of the Cradle inside the city. But I trust Tang, I trust Lisa, and I trust you. All as capable fighters, and more so that you're not going to try to use this as an opportunity to kill them and, well, force their hand to kill us in kind.
Are we not trying to kill them?
Kill Oleander.
Oh, right.
I know as tempting as it is, I would certainly love it.
I would certainly love to have the ability to, but I don't, so I won't. Sure. Just
Then he is a
let's hope this doesn't go to
hindrance
shit.
to what we really need to do.
Mm-hmm.
If it does, I will take responsibility.
Why does he need us to do this? Why can't he do this? You know, isn't he like amazing at what he does, and doesn't he have like a lot of support around him?
Namely, to avoid drawing too much attention to their interference with one another is what I'm guessing.
So it's to
But
draw
more
attention
so
to
is
us.
that so they can, well, so that they can focus solely on the one that is the most danger.
All right.
It's not ideal. I don't like it. But if it means that we actually have a chance to do what we need to tomorrow, then I'm willing to entertain it.
So far as everything is fine.